Over 1,000 people are suing the makers of drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy, saying the medications gave them debilitating side effects.
The 15 million or so Americans who've taken Ozempic.
Took Ozempic for diabetes.
Man,
who knew?
You know what? No one told me. When I was on Ozempic for a year.
What if the biggest celebrity weight loss story isn't about the weight at all, but about the lie behind it? Everywhere you look, stars are shrinking fast, posting workout clips, selling meal plans, and pretending it all came from discipline alone. But fans are starting to notice the pattern, and they're not buying it anymore. This isn't about judging medical help. It's about secrecy, profit, and the impossible body standards being sold as if they're natural. Let's start with one of the few celebrities who actually got this conversation right, Billy Gardell. And honestly, that matters more than people think. Because in a culture where dramatic weight loss is usually followed by vague captions, cryptic interviews, and a whole lot of denial, Billy took a completely different route. He told the truth. The Mike and Molly star has lost more than 150 pounds, and he has never tried to package that transformation as some magical result of just cutting carbs or finally being happy. From the beginning, Billy was open about the fact that he was dealing with type 2 diabetes and that his health had reached a point where real intervention was necessary. He spoke publicly about working with doctors, changing his lifestyle, and doing what he had to do to manage a serious condition. That honesty is exactly why his story hits differently. Billy didn't pretend that willpower alone changed his life. He didn't try to sell people a fake narrative about discipline while hiding the medical reality behind the scenes. He acknowledged the full picture: the health scare, the treatment, the lifestyle shift, and the long-term commitment it takes to stay on track. And that's what makes him so important in this conversation. He proves that transparency doesn't ruin the story. It strengthens it. Fans are far more willing to respect someone who says, "I needed help, and I got it," than someone who builds an entire transformation brand on half-truths. Billy Gardell isn't on this list because people are suspicious. He's here because he showed what honesty is supposed to look like. Rebel Wilson's story stands out because it exposes a part of this conversation almost nobody wants to talk about: maintenance. Everybody loves celebrating the dramatic before and after moment. People praise the discipline, the workouts, the year of health, and the visible transformation. But almost no one wants to talk about what happens after the applause fades and your body starts fighting to get the weight back. That's where Rebel's honesty actually matters. Rebel famously lost around 77 pounds during her well-documented health journey in 2020. And at the time, the narrative was clear. This was discipline. This was structure. This was a celebrity publicly committing to long-term change. But years later, after becoming a mother and dealing with the realities of hormonal shifts, stress, and body maintenance, Rebel admitted something that instantly changed the conversation. She said she briefly used medical help for appetite control when the weight started creeping back. And let's be real, that kind of honesty is rare. She didn't rewrite her original transformation story. She didn't pretend the treatment was responsible for all 77 pounds. She didn't erase the hard work that came first. Instead, she revealed something much more interesting and much more relatable. Losing weight is one battle, but keeping it off can be a completely different war. That's what makes her story important. Rebel Wilson represents the part of celebrity weight loss culture that usually gets hidden behind polished photos and vague lifestyle balance language. She admitted that even after major success, biology can still push back. And honestly, that may be one of the most truthful things anyone in this entire conversation has said. Caroline Stanbury stands out because she did something most celebrities still seem terrified to do. She said it out loud. No cryptic captions. No fake, "I just got serious about wellness" storyline. No carefully polished mystery designed to keep people guessing. Caroline treated the whole thing with a level of bluntness that almost feels shocking in celebrity culture. And that's exactly why her story hits so hard. After gaining weight during IVF, something many women experience and almost nobody should be ashamed of, Caroline was open about the fact that the weight didn't just disappear on its own. She talked about using medical help, and she didn't frame it like some secret she hoped no one would notice. She framed it like a tool. That's what makes her different. In a world where public figures keep trying to package every transformation as if it came from green juice and discipline alone, Caroline basically said, "Yes, I used help. Now what?" And let's be real, that honesty changes the entire conversation. She didn't stop at admitting one part of the process either. She was also transparent about the workouts, the strict routine, and even the cosmetic procedures happening around the same time. Most celebrities want the final result without ever acknowledging the full system behind it. Caroline did the opposite. She made the whole process visible. That's what makes her such an interesting figure in this discussion. It's not just that she was honest, it's that her honesty was almost aggressive. She treated pharmaceuticals, exercise, and cosmetic maintenance like tools in the same kit. And whether people like that or not, at least she didn't lie about the box they came in. Harvey Fierstein stands out because he didn't just answer the question. He changed the tone of the entire conversation. In a celebrity culture built on dodging, deflecting, and pretending dramatic transformations just happened naturally, Harvey did something that feels almost radical now. He told the truth, and then he kept telling it louder than everyone else. At his highest weight, Harvey was reportedly around 310 pounds. After starting medically supervised treatment in 2024, he dropped to around 190. And unlike so many public figures who suddenly appear smaller and expect fans not to notice, Harvey never treated his transformation like a mystery. He framed it for what it was, a health decision, not vanity. Not image management, not some polished Hollywood reinvention story. Just a real person dealing with real physical limitations and wanting a better quality of life. That honesty matters. But what makes Harvey even more important is that he went beyond personal disclosure. He actively pushed back against the shame around medical support. He talked about how it helped quiet the constant obsession with food, how it made him feel normal instead of trapped in an endless mental battle. And honestly, that kind of language is powerful because it shifts the whole narrative. It stops being about celebrity aesthetics and starts being about relief, mobility, and health. He even admitted that he gained some weight back and was fine maintaining there, which makes his story feel even more credible. No fake perfection, no fantasy ending, just honesty. Harvey Fierstein proves that transparency doesn't weaken a public image. It gives it weight. And in a culture full of carefully managed half-truths, that kind of openness feels genuinely rare. Toya Jackson's situation feels different from the others, and honestly, that's what makes it so unsettling. With most celebrity transformations, the public reaction follows a pattern. People speculate, the celebrity denies, and the cycle keeps spinning. But with Toya, the conversation doesn't feel driven by gossip alone. It feels driven by concern, real concern. Because the silence around what's happening has left people filling in the blanks, and none of those blanks feel especially comforting. Late last year, Toya started posting cryptic clips from medical offices, asking for prayers and hinting that she was hoping for good results, but never explaining what those appointments were actually about. Then she would disappear, only to reappear looking dramatically thinner than fans remembered. And that's when the internet did what it always does now. It jumped straight to one assumption, not because anyone had proof, but because we've been conditioned to read every sudden weight change through the exact same lens. That's what makes this case so troubling. It's entirely possible Toya is dealing with something deeply personal and genuinely serious. But because celebrity culture has trained people to expect secrecy, branding, and half-truths around body changes, Even visible signs of possible illness get absorbed into the same tired speculation machine. People stop asking, "Is she okay?" and start asking, "What is she using?" And that shift says something bigger than just one celebrity story. It shows how distorted this conversation has become. When dramatic changes happen, we no longer know how to respond with empathy first. In Toya Jackson's case, the mystery isn't intriguing. It's uncomfortable. Because what may be happening behind the silence could be far more serious than the internet wants to believe. Elle King's story is where this conversation starts getting messy, because it sits right in that uncomfortable space between explanation and suspicion. She didn't stay silent. She didn't dodge the conversation completely. In fact, when people started speculating about her dramatic weight loss, she pushed back hard. And honestly, that fierce response only made the internet look even closer. After dropping from a much heavier pregnancy weight to a noticeably smaller frame, Elle made it clear that she was not using weight loss shots. Instead, she pointed to very real health factors: PCOS, pre-diabetes, and a deeply personal fear of following the same path she saw in her grandfather's struggle with diabetes. That context matters. A lot. This wasn't just a celebrity trying to look different for cameras. By her own account, it was tied to health anxiety, family history, and the emotional weight of years spent battling body issues. And that emotional history runs deep. Elle has spoken openly about painful childhood experiences, including being sent to weight camps and carrying shame around her body from a young age. So when she talks about discipline, fear, and needing to take control, it doesn't sound random. It sounds like someone responding to years of pain. She says she trains intensely, does hundreds of reps, eats with strict structure, and travels with serious fitness support. But here's why people still keep questioning it. The change was fast, and in this current climate, rapid transformations automatically trigger suspicion. That may be unfair, but it's also reality. Elle King's case matters because it shows how hard it is to separate genuine health effort from public doubt once the internet decides a certain pattern looks familiar. Selena Gomez's story is one of the most frustrating in this entire conversation because she has actually been honest, and people still refuse to listen. That's what makes her case so different. In a culture where so many celebrities stay vague, deflect questions, or let speculation do the talking for them, Selena has been clear for years about what she's dealing with. And somehow, that still isn't enough for the internet. Every time Selena appears a little fuller or a little slimmer, the same cycle starts all over again. Social media lights up, people start comparing photos, and suddenly everyone thinks they've cracked some secret code. But Selena has already explained the reality. She has lupus. She had a kidney transplant. She has ongoing health issues, and the medications tied to those conditions can cause visible changes in her body. That is not mystery, that is medical reality. And honestly, the fact that people keep ignoring that says something ugly about this entire culture. We've gotten so used to reading every celebrity transformation through the exact same lens that even someone with a fully documented health history gets shoved into the same rumor machine. Instead of hearing what she has already said, people project the version of the story they want to believe. That's what makes Selena's case so important. It proves that transparency alone doesn't always protect someone from speculation once the culture becomes addicted to one explanation for everything. Her story is not about secrecy. It's about what happens when the public stops respecting the truth, even when it's given to them directly. And that may be even more disturbing than silence itself. At the end of the day, this was never about judging people for getting medical help. It's about honesty, accountability, and the impossible standards being sold to everyone else. If celebrities profit from the image, they should be honest about the method. If you agree, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next deep dive into the stories everyone else is afraid to say out loud.